It's a great day to talk hockey on HabsCast. Morning, folks. I'm scrambling a little bit here. I was a little late getting rolling. I just got Liam the link. Hopefully he can join us here in a minute. All right, can you hear me? We're scrambling a little bit here this morning. Apologies for that. I'm a little bit nature called there and ended up being a little late getting rolling here, but Liam should have the link and he should be with me any minute now if he's got his Bailey's poured. I hope he got the link. If not, I'll resend it in a minute, but I ended up being logged out of Gmail. There he is. Morning. A great start. I started with on mute and without a co-host. So, geez.
Your link didn't come through.
I was logged out of my Gmail and my other account. It's a long story, but for some reason they booted me out of my YouTube channel because I was linked. I don't know. Every now and then it goes haywire. I didn't have in the Gmail account that I was logged into. I didn't have your email address, so I had to send it on my phone to myself, and then anyway, complicated, but we're here, and we're happy. The Habs are once again. I mean, I was thinking of cracking a beer because that's kind of the tradition, but post game. But no, my days of 8 a.m. Beers are, I'm afraid, are over, Liam.
Well, I got the Baileys going, but that's about it. Just a little shot in the coffee here. Get the day going. I got a long day ahead of me, but it's I mean, we were the last game with LA there last night of a 16-game sled, and found a way to get her done. Everybody was coming back last night. I mean, that's been that way for a couple of years now, right? I mean, you get lead. I mean, Ottawa came back. New Jersey had probably the best, down 5, came back 5-4, ended up getting smoked too anyway. But Montreal, I mean, and I'm thinking, you're going, oh my God, you can feel it at 3-2. And to me, they showed their age last night. They showed a little bit of their youth, and then Cole finds a way to get it done. My God, his game's gone to a whole other level, hasn't it? It's just been incredible to see.
Well, I got thinking like how times change. Wasn't that long ago when the Canadiens would start an overtime with, and I mean no disrespect to them, but Evans, Byron, and Petrie, and the goal was just to kind of stop the talent on the other side if they could, and maybe somehow get it to a shootout, and hope that Carey, won it for him, or like that was the strategy, not that long ago. And now, I mean, Montreal's got so much talent. Yeah, sure, they've won 4 games in overtime, but it's a testament to their talent that they won those 4 games because they can match skill for skill with any team. You trot out Hudson, Caufield, and Suzuki to start the game, and who's got more? Not many teams have more skill than that right off the bat. So they find a way to win because of their talent now, instead of relying on maybe a lucky break and good goaltending in a shootout once it gets to overtime, right?
Yeah, no question about it. It seems like it's happened overnight, but it's been a build here as they've improved their point total for 4 straight years, and will undoubtedly, all things being equal here as we're 11 games in, improve again for a 5th straight year. The NHL record is 8, held by San Jose. I think the Islanders went 5 or 6 straight. So Montreal getting into kind of uncharted territory that way, even in terms of how their growth has been continual. They didn't do a 30-point jump like Anaheim last year, but it's almost it's almost better this way, I think, as Gorton and Hughes have put the pieces together here, sort of taking over what was left from Bergevin, which left us with a lot of good parts. And then now they've done just such a masterful job, I think, in assembling what's the rest of this roster is. And not without, of course, you're going to have some headaches and some heartache and some tough losses. But my God, bank these points right now, keep the momentum going. I can only imagine the plane ride home and get ready for what's going to be right now in the early going here, the biggest game of the year. Ottawa is always a tough out for Montreal.
Yeah, you'll have to pardon me here. I'm just getting my image files loaded up here. I really was scrambling at the last minute to be ready. Yes, there they all are. I just wanted to get a bunch of stats. Yeah, Montreal is tied with LA. It's funny, LA was unbeatable at home basically last year, and now they started the year road warriors, just like the Habs. Both teams have 5 road wins so far. Yeah. It seems like Montreal, the schedule makers, remember back in the day in the 70s and that, when, of course, the Canadiens had a powerhouse, but you'd hear grumblings that, the schedule's made in Montreal and it favors the Canadiens, and that's one of the reasons why they get off to such great starts, right?
Well, they only lost 8 games in 77.
Yeah. But I guess it's sort of like, video reviews in Toronto, so they get I guess, Toronto can relate to that these days. But it seems like every year they start the road, their first 10 to 15 games, the vast majority of them are on the road. They send them on a Western road swing, I think, the first month, just about every year. And typically the Canadiens, because of it, in the past, again, when they didn't have the talent they have now, would not do very well to start the year. But 5-2 on the road, which included a 4-game Western swing, 4 games and 6 nights. Like, that's out of the way now. So hopefully they come back home. And typically that first game home after a Western road swing, you're home to the wife and kids, and you gotta, they don't have to shovel snow at this time of year. I guess that's the good thing. But there's always duties around the house. It seems like the first game after, it takes a while to get back in the rhythm for whatever reasons, but hopefully they can they have their legs, and they're ready for an Ottawa team that suddenly is very explosive, is scoring a lot of goals.
Absolutely. The Sens have righted the ship, notwithstanding last night. I know they arrived late, and you're going into Chicago, who are also enjoying finally a bit of a bump here in the Bedard era. Had his greatest game so far last night in his brief NHL career, picking up his first hat trick. The goals look good. Allmark, not so much. But at the same time, Ottawa with 14 goals in the 2 previous games. And if you look at the regular season stats between them the last 3 or 4 years, they've dominated Montreal. So it's a tough out, and they're at home. Thing is, for the Habs, to your point, I agree. The good thing is, good or bad, but I think good in this case, because they have been on the road. They're coming from the furthest west, and other than LA, I guess, they're down in California. But
right,
you don't have a game between now and Saturday, so you will be able to sort of get the home cooking stuff done, I think. And Ottawa will be at home. They got a great chance to bounce back too. You got the Flames, who gave the Leafs all they could handle last night. They probably deserved a better fate. I give Domi credit for scoring that second one late there with less than 3 minutes to go. It was a nice goal. They end up getting 2 points out of it. But Calgary, as we all know from the record, have not been good this year. And yet they've been in. And I've been saying this. I've been telling friends of mine, we watch all the games. And if you watch the Flames, they've been in a ton of those games in the third. Yeah. And they just bring them away, for whatever reason. And Wolf's not having the greatest start, and, a few other pieces. But Ottawa's got that to come on Thursday, and then they're home to the Habs, and the Habs get back. So I think we're going to be in for a great game Saturday, Montreal's next one here. But last night, man, oh man, like Craig Button said it on the telecast, that was 40 to 50 minutes of textbook hockey on the road. Oh. And can I want to just say something, Grant? It's funny. We all read the same stuff on social media and, the haters and about the Habs schedule, which you just talked about, but all these teams that weren't in the playoffs last year. Thing is, half the games they've won this year are teams that are in a playoff spot right now. Like these teams are playing good hockey, and Seattle's 5-2-2 coming in. Like that game last night. And did you see the pace of that game last night? Like, holy cow. That was like Montreal played extremely well, but you could see the push from Seattle. Like they had a number of controlled zone entries. They had good outlets. They were making things happen. It just was getting swallowed up by Montreal's tremendous defensive structure, which, yes, it did break down, and Seattle ended up making, hay out of it and got a big point. And at the end of the day, they stay with 2 regulation losses. But my goodness, keep in mind, 3 years ago, Seattle beat Colorado in the first round of the playoffs. They've only got a handful of guys left from that roster, but still, this isn't just a chump change franchise that Montreal rolled in to get an automatic 2. Like, no. It was, to me, that was a really, really good, entertaining hockey game. And I give the Kraken all the credit in the world for tying it up. I give Montreal, especially Cole. My God, what a goal. It reminded me of Patrick Kane, Stanley Cup winner in 2010. The only people on the ice who knew it was in was Caufield last night. We didn't know for a split second, right? He was celebrating, I think, before the light went on. You can see the goal, and I went nuts. So it was amazing hockey game for an 11th game in Seattle with the Habs.
For sure. I just realized that for whatever reason we weren't live on X, and our numbers were at about 9, and now they just jumped to 29 like that. So good. I guess a lot of more people are watching us on X than on YouTube, and that's fine. I don't care how it's done. Although I don't believe if you're on X, you can join the live chat. So if you are watching this on X and you want to chime in with some comments, hop over to the YouTube channel and give us your thoughts. We haven't got any yet. I think most of our brethren there maybe up a little late the last couple of nights. The Jays going 18 innings. Did you watch that game?
Yeah, I did actually. I watched the last 3 innings in bed. Got a good sized TV in the room there. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah,
and, I stayed the way we all have our superstitions, right? I remember having the stupidest things in the 1970s, and he said to me one time, he says, "Boy, I'm sure glad you switched seats prior to the third period of that game in the '78 playoffs. We never would have won. Like, you don't switch your." I just realized how stupid I said that to search the art. But the way it is last night, the late games, I'm watching on the couch. And if the Habs are winning at the end of the first period, I ain't going anywhere. Well, as long as they're win or tie, then I stay here and I will not go up and watch the rest of it in bed. So I watch the whole game down here. But the Jays, who I want to see win, but I don't have a huge emotional attachment. I'm not a massive baseball fan, but I'm cheering for them. They are, to me, representing Canada in that sense. And that was ridiculous. Like you almost could feel it to the 12th, 13th, 14th inning. Nobody was going to get anybody out. Like, they were just, Jay's got a couple hits there, here and there. But I mean, I watched the last 3 innings in bed. I think I was at my absolute peak. Got one more inning. I think my eye was closing. Had to be close to 4 a.m. Pretty sure, was it not?
I don't know. I went 16 and I said, you know what? This could go 40 innings and the Jays aren't getting another run. And I don't want to see them lose after staying up this late. So I said, I'm packing her in after 16. The Dodgers got this, and unfortunately I was right. But yeah.
Bounced back last night, man. Now you bring it home.
Oh, I know. Big win.
Amazing series. It really has been. It's been great theater as well. And good on Toronto for getting back there. And it's just encouraging for teams that put rosters together that you don't have an Ohtani. You don't have a Judge. Yeah, you got Vladdy and threw a bunch of dough at him, but it's just, to me, from baseball's point of view, is they've structured a good roster there. And I'm trying to draw an analogy with the Montreal Canadiens, who have taken a page out of the 1970 Islanders here, Grant. I'm saying this to you. You know this, or can comment on this a whole lot more accurately than I can. But I just love the way that this Montreal roster has been constructed. The fact that for the second year in Buffalo, I think they started the youngest this year, which I think showed a little bit in the third, right? They get this is what scares me about the Ottawa game. The Senators, and believe me, they'll be a whole lot better than they were last night. I absolutely guarantee you they will. The Senators play, and I did not think this was going to happen under Travis Green, but I feel that they play with really good structure. I mean, they were a point back, a floor 798 points. This is a good team, and they play with a lot of structure, and they love those controlled zone entries. And Montreal has trouble down low. They have trouble defending against the cycle. They have trouble defending against teams who utilize the points well. That's when they run into a little bit of trouble. And here's the biggest question, Grant. Let me ask you this. Who's going to start nets for Montreal?
Yeah, that was what I was just going to ask you. Well, I mean, Dobie's 6-0. He's the only goalie that's 6-0 in the league. How do you not start him?
You got to start him.
4-day rest.
You got to start him. You absolutely have to start him. This cannot be a participation league. You can't, okay, let's give our guy a chance to get back in here. No, this is probably it could be considered your number one rival. In fact, what am I saying? Could be. It is. Ottawa is Montreal's number one rival. And the first game of the season, you haven't played them overly well for a bunch of years. And it's in their barn. You know you're going to have a ton of Habs fans. But still, Dobie's got to start, man. Dobie's got to get the net. I hope so. But I can't wait. I think it's going to be fabulous.
It should be.
Game. I really do.
And, funny how you mentioned it. It was a consummate road game for the first two periods. 10 shots, when they hold a team to 5 shots in each of the first two periods on the road, fourth game in 6 nights. Mike Matheson, my goodness. He's playing like a top 10 defenseman in the league right now. Like, did you see just how many times he breaks? He is really playing fantastic hockey right now.
I know his minutes have come back up here in the last 3-4 games. I think he's been over 27 each of the last 2. And boy, normally that's a recipe for disaster. But, geez, I know we're not getting many calls. It seems like we don't get many power plays there. But, and he wouldn't be on the unit anyway. And I think that's helpful second. But, he's played so freaking well, Grant. I think he's 4th in the league in plus minus. Not that's a huge tell-all stat, but still, to me, it's always been an indicator. And like you said, to your point, he has been so solid, and it seems almost like they feed off each other in terms of how many times I've not seen Montreal do this as consistently as I have in the last 12 months or so in their own zone. Find the back guy. Don't force something forward and lose it and right up at the blue line or a quick turnover there. Put it back, find the outlet, go the other way. All these little things. I saw Matheson do it 2 or 3 times last night. You see Lane do it probably better than anybody. Now you've parachuted Dobson into the mix here. And the guy is just such a rock back there. Like, what a freaking addition. I know Heineman's doing great on the – you got to give to get. Right now, this is a trade that's helped both teams. And I know they lost last night to Boston, but he's played well. But Dobson, oh, my God. But, yeah, you're right. Matheson, now I'm going to watch these minutes here very carefully over the next few games and see if he stays up around that, which is kind of – where he was hovering the last few years, which I felt got him in trouble. Yeah. Mind you, playing first unit power play in all of those games, and now he's not. I just feel, Grant, it's taken pressure off. Dobson's arrival has taken pressure off, and the emergence of Lane Hudson has taken pressure off, and we're seeing the best possible Mike Matheson.
He had more than 6 minutes on the penalty kill last night.
You know? What about Carrier? Holy lifting. He is. It's like a Savard, David Savard handed him the torch. Here's how you play the PK, kid. You know, like he is blocking shots. The down low. Let's go right down to the ice. How many of those things shot last night? Absorber. Like it's the puck's there. I'll take that. The puck's there. I'll take that. And he's, you know, for a guy who's not 6'3", he's not cleaning guys out in front. He doesn't have to. He plays smart. He plays efficiently. He's got hockey IQ, and he just knows how to defend. And man, oh man, because he's lost in terms of that lineup when you start talking D. Oh, you got Calder Trophy winner. You got Noah Dobson, 71 points 2 years ago. And holy cow, Matheson is looking like the best. Oh, who's that other guy?
Exactly.
You know, and he's just outstanding game by him last night, I thought, too.
Yeah, for sure. And Craig Button mentioned something. I've been thinking it, you know, like Stefan Robidaw's the defense coach, right?
Yeah.
Who's he playing like? He's playing a lot. He's very similar to Stefan Robidaw, really. You know.
Well, just just threaten them all with, you know, hey boys, you don't want to be on the Robidaw Island.
Yeah, that's right. But you know, Roby was such an underrated defenseman, right?
And he was tough. He was very tough and very underrated.
Yeah, tough as nails, and you know, 5'11", similar size, right? Play bigger than their size, and I thought that was a good point by Craig, because I've been thinking the same thing. Stefan Robidaw is the unsung hero of the coaching staff, as far as I'm concerned, too. Like 3 years ago, he took, for the first time in NHL history, well, no team had ever worked 4 rookie defensemen into a lineup in the season, and the Habs worked 5 in.
Yeah.
You know, and him, a rookie, like his first year as a defense coach in the NHL, like, you know, he gets stuck with 5 rookies that he's got to tutor. And, you know, I thought I mean, they've all developed. They've all become better defensemen. It just, he's the unsung hero of that coaching staff. Marty gets all the, you know, and with good reason, he gets a lot of the plaudits. But I think Stefan Robidaw deserves a, you know, kudos for the job he's done with the defense group. I mean, Gooley goes out and they don't miss a beat, right? They just, okay, well, we'll up these guys' minutes a bit, you know, protect Drubel and Jack-Eye a little bit and keep their minutes down a bit, but make sure they're out. Carrier was always out when Jack-Eye was out as a rule, and I thought Arbor bounced back with a better game last night, and that was encouraging to see.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's, you know, Struble took that penalty, and that kind of turned the tide, right?
I thought he had a tough third period, actually.
Yeah, that was probably the most I've seen him struggle so far. But hey, that's what, 8 games in, or however many he's played. We'll take that one bad period out of every 8 games out of Strubes. But you know, Caufield's the all-time Habs overtime. He broke Howie Morenz's record. Give us a little history on why, you know, back in the Howie Morenz days, they had overtime, right? And then they got rid of it. Like what?
Yeah.
What happened?
Well,
there?
Not only did they have overtime, but you didn't win the game if you scored in overtime. You played the full overtime period. So It wasn't uncommon for the better players to get, like, for example, Ken Doherty in 1934, I believe it was, had a hat trick in overtime. So he's the only guy in NHL history to do so. He's actually born in Stittsville, just a little suburb here.
Yeah, Kenny Doherty. Yeah.
His picture's on the rink there, the Johnny LaRue Arena, inside on the right-hand side. If you go in, there's a picture.
How long were overtimes then?
There was a full period 20, then they reduced it to 10 minutes. Yeah. And they played 10 minutes, and it was no matter how many you scored. And there were a couple of games where Howie got a couple goals. But the bottom line is overtime was discontinued during the Second World War, November of 1942, I believe it was. And it didn't come back in the NHL till 1983. It's inconceivable to me that had it been around in Rocket Richard's era, given that he had 6 in the playoffs, which was the record for 36 years until Joe Sakic broke it in 1996, playing exponentially more playoff games. There's never been a greater goal scorer in hockey history than Rocket Richard. There is no discussion about that. If you had to tap one person on the shoulder in the history of hockey to go out and score a goal to win or tie a game, you're tapping Maurice the Rocket Richard. That is it. That is all. 82 winners, 18 game winners in the playoffs, 10 hat tricks, or 7 hat tricks, 6 OT goals. I mean, when it mattered most to score, Rocket scored. Had there been overtime in the regular season in his era, and it just came out as he was starting. He was just starting with the Habs. He got hurt his first couple of years pro. Tommy Gorman tried to trade him, couldn't get any takers. They pick up this kid from out west who had gone to the Ranger camp on a tryout named Elmer Locke. They had traded for Toll Blake from the Montreal Maroons 5-6 years before that. They put the 3 of them together. The rest is history. But Howie Morenz had 10 OT goals. And now Caufield, I think last night was his 11th, I believe. Right, Grant?
Yeah.
And
which is getting started.
Absolutely incredible. So. Yeah, no, that's the history of the OT, though. It wasn't sudden death from the start of the NHL, which was 1917, until they discontinued it in. Okay. I want to say it was November 21st, 1942, I believe was the date. I think
we need the exact date there, Liam. So you better get the wheels turning.
You know what? I'm sure the date. I'm just a little unsure of the year. It was either 40 or 42. I think it was 42. But I think the last game was the Rangers and the Bruins. I think the score was 5-3. And I think the last guy to score a regular season overtime goal was Brian Hextall.
Show off. Okay. Thanks, Liam. Yeah, I didn't remember that, but thanks, Liam. The Habs, let's have a look here at a couple of things. I was just picking up some stats here. So Nick Suzuki leads the NHL in assists, 14. Cole Caufield, you see the bolded part?
Yeah.
Leads the NHL in goals with 9. Even strength goals, Caufield has 8 in 11 games, Liam. He's on pace for like 50 even straight goals. What stands out for me here as well is that 11 players have 6 or more points, right?
Yeah.
So they're getting balanced scoring. That's when would be the last time the Canadiens had 11 45-point scorers? I mean, they had some years where the top scorer had 45 points or close to it. So you know, and they're at the top of the standings in goals for with you know, I think it's 40 and 11 or whatever it is. So you got to think that it bodes well for them that they're finding. They not only have quality at the top, their first line's playing great. Great that Slav has 5 goals at this point of the year after, you know, second half Slav is now, you know, officially that nickname's officially been retired. And but they have quality and quantity now scoring wise. And I think that bodes well for them staying at the top of the standings in the East.
Sir, it certainly does on paper. Right. You know, the drop off when it comes shouldn't be as hurtful as it was last year going into the Four Nation. The one at the start of the season, of course, had us in last place after 15 games. And then going into the Four Nation, we were absolutely horrible. And I think those are a couple things that we can avoid, I'm hoping, and I think we should be able to, which puts us in good stead to challenge for a top 3 spot in the Atlantic as the season rolls along here, because you're going to have some dips. They're going to come. But I think we could be seeing something very special here. We could be on the genesis of something very special here in Montreal in terms of the talent they've assembled and how they can rally. I believe right now also in this young season so far, Grant, that they're tied for or leading in third period comebacks. I know they had that reversed against them last night, but Seattle didn't finish the job. So the Canadiens got it done. So that wouldn't fully qualify in that sense, where Montreal has come back a number of times to secure victories. Isn't it interesting though, Grant? You look at the Vancouver game and Montreal's first 30 minutes, they were horrible. Like, they just couldn't get out of their own way, really, and down 2-0 and just really looked listless out there. And then, got it going. And Demidov really was the spark there. And I know he, whatever on that first power play unit last night, that Slav got the goal. Whether Demi's playing a role over there because they have to protect that, I believe that to be the case. I think they're 3 for 5 since they moved them up on the power play. Like you said earlier at the start of the show, great the second unit to bang one in. And which is, critically important too, to psyche and just being able to contribute and everything else. You're going to get some looks. And so that's encouraging. But yeah, there's what we're seeing right now, 11 games in, is a team that should be able to, for all intent and purpose, if they don't go 8-3 every 11, they should be, 7-3-1, that type of thing, right? Or 6, whatever, 2-3, some sort of combination that's still banking a lot of points and moving up from their 91 points last year and closing in on 100 points and securing a top 3 spot in the Atlantic. So very anxious to see how it all progresses. And we take it a game at a time here on HabsCast with our shows and dissect it as best we can and get ready for the next contest. So last night was a great W to get. That happened because we got one of the most skilled players. Cole is playing out of his mind right now. You heard Craig say it last night too. Like, he seems like he's got an extra jump down low. His ability to control the puck and make those little passes, finding Nick, their chemistry is surreal right now. So I'm so happy Slav scored on that bang play. You rarely see that. The bumper hasn't, I know we saw a little bit with Bull Duke there at the start, but Montreal hasn't had a lot of success with that bumper play. And if they can get that going, and you got Demi over on the other side and all-world creativity on the back with Lane in that first unit, man, oh man, it's heady times. So we'll see how it goes, because this Ottawa game will be a beast, man, believe me.
Well, it's that pass that Caufield made to Slav was great. He's been he's just so explosive, so quick in tight quarters, his edge work is great, and his first step is so fast, quick twitch, muscle fiber there. And the days of, and then he made a fantastic defensive play again last night coming back. Like, he's really upped his defensive game. He's turning into, dare I say, a Marty St. Louis type forward. There's a lot of similarities there.
Pretty heady comparison there, brother. But
type. I said type.
Hey, look, it took Marty a couple of years to get going, and he wasn't even drafted. So
that's right. That's right.
I remember watching Marty in Arnprior when the Ottawa Senators gave him a crack, and they quickly cut him, and he went to Calgary. I mean, it took him a while to find his sea legs. So, and we all know what he became. So, but we're an impatient world now today, because of Twitter and the way people can communicate now, and they just want to just absolutely rail on bad periods, let alone bad shifts sometimes. So it's really difficult to allow guys to develop and grow in terms of the vocal minority on social media. But it's that's been a real solid seeing Slav with 5. Scoring last night in that bang play, really, really encouraging. What I loved in that first period was just the bounce back from Vancouver's, where they got the W, but it took a while to get the engines going. And unlike years past. I think that would have been an earmarked L all day. Like last year at this time, forget about it. Mail it in. That game's over. So you're getting work and come back and go into a play in Seattle. And I hope the message was, hey, check their friggin' record out. This is a good club. And they looked at last night. Like, I was really, really impressed with Seattle's own transition game. It's just we were stifling for 40 minutes. You said it yourself, holding the 5 shots each for 2 periods. My God. But a lot of encouraging stuff. Toby Garrett gets another W6. And oh, my God. Unbelievable. And he's got to start Saturday and just can't wait.
I tell you, if, I'm going to be interested in see what Montreal hockey writers that have votes in the Norris, whether Montour's in the top 5, because every freaking time he plays the Canadiens, he's just a star. he's a Habs killer, and I mean he did it again last night. Almost killed them, but certainly maimed them. Anyways, Brandon Montour, and his story is a touching one too. And I wasn't happy that Seattle came back, but I'm happy for Brandon Montour. He's a hell of a defenseman.
Oh my God, he's in his absolute prime at 31. But isn't it amazing? He's on. I mean, he starts with the Ducks. The guy's bouncing around. Wins the Stanley Cup with Florida. I know there's different reasons why you got to let guys go, and the cap and Florida and everything, but what a pickup by Seattle, because he was outstanding for the Panthers, and he was outstanding. I thought he played well for the Sabres too. I mean, this is 4th NHL team, and he just, like you said, he's a Hab killer. He played so well in that 3rd period, the whole game really, and he's tough too. He's a tough kid, just losing his brother to ALS, as you were alluding to there, and it's the insidious disease that it is. And I was happy for him too, to be honest. And I know they'll be disappointed they didn't complete the comeback last night, but they avoided a loss in regulation. They pick up another point. They're in a playoff spot right now, and they're a tough out, man. This is Seattle from 3 years ago, Grant. That's what these guys are right now. That's what it reminds me of. And Eberle went to a whole other level there 3 years ago and really found himself. And I like what Lane Lambert's doing right now. So you just don't know. I didn't think Travis Green was going to come here in Ottawa and do squat. I didn't think he did anything in Vancouver, and he did less in New Jersey. But he seems to have found some synergy here in Ottawa, and I think he's coached very well. And I'm telling you, I love their structure, and we're going to see it on display without Brady on Saturday night, and they'll be a hell of a tough out, and it should just be a great hockey game. And it's very early here, but you know what the old saying is that it gets late early too. Like these points are so important.
Oh, absolutely.
In a couple of weeks, we're going to be at game 20. We're going to be a quarter of the way through the season here, just a few weeks from now. So it very, very quick. Condensed schedule because of the Olympics and everything else. So you got to bank these freaking points. And that was a huge win to get last night. And let's just keep this party going, baby.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we haven't had the only person that weighed in on chat for the first while. I think most of our gang is just waking up. A lot of them, but it's kind of fitting that while I'm having a cup of Joe, that it's Joe that's been leaving all the messages on here, and Joe says, "Let's say you're professional scouting, not amateur versus kids." Okay, well I'm more on the amateur side, but we'll try to answer this for you. Which D should we get to complete our squad? Okay. Well, how about Caden Gooley? If we got Caden Gooley, when Gooley's back, I don't know. Do we need to? I mentioned it last game that maybe they need to add one more defenseman, for a cup run and stuff. I think they might do that, just because there's always injuries, right? And as we see, it's usually Gooley. But I think they may add and it'll probably be closer to the deadline, but you never know. Do you think that they'll add maybe another defenseman with a bit of beef? The last time the Canadiens went on a cup run, of course, it was on the back of Edmondson, Sherratt, and Weber, just suffocating teams like the Leafs and Matthews, and the little the ragdoll and the Matthews with his smile on his face and stuff, right? That was that turned the series as far as I'm concerned.
It was a beautiful thing.
It was, yeah. I knew you'd like that. But what do you think? We'll let you try to. Do you agree? First of all, do you agree with that? And if so, is there? I mean, it's hard to get a specific player, but what are your thoughts?
29th with Goulet out and, probably back in another 3 weeks.
Hopefully.
In that area, if everything goes well, if the guy's in the lineup and gets his reps in and gets up to speed at his best, he's such an asset because he is physical and he is dependable, and he's a guy that I could easily see being on a roster that goes deep in the playoffs with Caden Goulet. I see that all day in him. I am not looking at Montreal's roster right now and perusing the other teams and about who we could possibly acquire for some substance, especially because Struble and Jack-Eye are two guys now, obviously not with a ton of NHL experience, but they aren't journeymen who've come in. They've guys who've come up through the program. They have had many, many, many good outings. Like you said, Jack-Eye last night, bounce back game for him. 11 minutes. He was hovering down around 8. He got an extra 2-3 minutes. I thought he benefited from it. He looked better. He looked good. Struble had just a tough third period, but for overall, since he's been up, I think he's been really, really effective. In fact, I think he's actually probably even moved ahead of Jack-Eye a little bit just since they've both been together here since Goulet's injury. But Grant, I don't have an answer to that question right now on October 29th about a D that I'd be looking for in Montreal. This whole thing will play itself out in March with the trade deadline if you have to try and get. But man, I don't think Kent will hesitate to pull the trigger on depth if he thinks he can bring somebody in that can platoon in, whether it's on the back end or up front. But so much talk about the second line center this summer. It got crazy. And man, oh man, if Doc had scored on that rush last night, that would have been one of the highlight real goals of this early season.
Yeah. So, he's starting to pick it up.
What is he? How many games has he played? 8? Where's your stats there? Has he played 8 games? He has 5 points. Is that possible? Check that out.
Yeah. They got him down for 3 here, but
3. Okay, I'm wrong.
Still, he's 3
points, but he's even on the plus.
Even I was just going to say, even in the plus minus, which is which is significant after last year, I think. Right?
Did you see his? I'm getting very specific here. That one play last night, but I watch him closely. I know he's been hurt, and when he got hurt again, it was the same time as Line A. Everyone, oh geez. Because Goulet, we know it's an automatic. You and I joked about it at the start of the season. It's just a matter of time. God willing, he can somehow find a switch where he can stay in the lineup because he's so effective. But I watch, as best I can on TV, Kirby Dach very, very closely. And I watch when the camera and you're seeing the other team gain the zone. And where is he? And I saw him, Grant, time and time again last night, come back deep, take his guy, position properly, ready to get the puck. And I just think one of the strengths of Montreal this season has been their breakouts have been so significantly improved. Now, yes, Noah Dobbs is playing a role in that for sure. But the forwards play a role in that too. They really do. They really do. When the Canadiens picked up Sheldon Surrey and went on a bit of a run in around 2000, after the lockout, the full season lockout, around 05 to 08, right in and around the time Carbo came on as coach and everything. And they put that line together there with Kostitsyn, Plekanec, and Kovalev. And it allowed Kovalev just to, basically be introduced to his goalie at the end of the game. But Plekanec and Kostitsyn came back, and they had such synergy on their breakouts. And if you remember, the Canadiens had tremendous regular seasons. Jose Theodore was all world, and they had a good club. And I'm not saying this is necessarily reminding me of that, but it kind of is in a little way. I'm seeing a succinct breakout, and Kirby Dach played a role in that last night numerous times. And I think this bodes well for this guy's future. And who knows what we're going to need come trade deadline. But, Joe, I can't think of a D-man right now that I'd be going after on October 29th for down the road even. So.
Yeah, no, that's fair. And, I think Dach is – before his knee injury that year, I think he was on pace for about 50, 55 points, and he played very well. And I really liked his game down low at that point. He has the potential to be a very good defensive center. Now, there's still a lot of work to do there, and it's tough. Like, I think ideally next year will be when you really see the full. Typically, it takes a couple of years to recover from, a couple of serious knee injuries. And it may not be this year that we see, prime Kirby Dach, but I think he can be a very good two-way center. And it's the same with Kapanen. It's the same with Suzuki. Evans, it's more defensive center, but that group is, can be pretty solid in keeping the puck out of their own net. And I like the. I don't mind the center group. Now, I had a discussion with Eric yesterday, and, I said it on a show earlier in the week. I think the Canadiens, I think the East is wide open with Barkov out. Like, I think the Canadiens could win the East. They'll have to make some additions, but that's what teams that are at the top of the standings do every trade deadline. And this year, I think they're going to be at the top three in the Atlantic, and that there'll be major buyers for a change at the trade deadline. How often have we been able to say that? He's not going to be adding Martinson and,
No.
Was it Steve Martin? He's going to Dwight King or whoever I can't even remember. Remember that,
Yeah.
Oh, here's Bergevin's additions, and he adds
he thought size and physicality, and he had his tenure here in Montreal. Bergevin's first 3 years were his best three, and if Kreider has won Price in 2014, we probably go to the final. Maybe we still lose, but it would have been interesting to see had Carey been healthy in that run. And that was the conclusion of Mark's third season here. He was in the GM award every year. He was runner-up a couple times.
Yeah.
I think he takes a lot of abuse, some of it unfounded, unfairly, I think, as a general manager. Wow. But having said that, you're right, Grant. It's 11 games in, so you don't want to put the cart before the horse here too much, but it's a great start. I did say, so I got to be honest. I got to be fair to everyone who's thinking that way, that I said, let's see where they are after 10 games, and they were 7-3, and now they're 8-3, and they're going to come home. They got a couple game homestand here, so we'll see. Big rivalry game on Saturday night, so let's see what we got, because this team typically beats us in Ottawa. So I look forward to that, to see another measuring stick as to where Montreal is here with this burgeoning talent that seems to be percolating and somewhat coming to the forefront here. So I'm not going to say right now that they're automatic top three, but in the division, but the start would indicate that. Tampa's start is nowhere near what I expected. Florida, as you say, are a wounded animal. Detroit look as good as anybody in the East, in the Atlantic. So it's got a lot of interesting components to across the league right now, really, to be honest. But the Atlantic, definitely, because Toronto is not the same team without Marner. There's no doubt about that, despite a big win last night. But they don't look all that threatening. And we'll see what we get with the Sens, who are just starting to kick it into gear. But I think it's there. It's there for Montreal for sure to make some noise and have a solid playoff ranked team here. So see how it goes, Grant. Yeah,
well, they're definitely in the mix. Last year that's what they said. Here, what am I? I'm just looking. Okay, here's other stats that I put together here. Time on ice. this is for the season, right? So there's some interesting stuff there. Suzuki's averaging more than 20 minutes a game. That's no surprise. He's, I mean, tell me that he's not going to be on the Olympic team. You'd have to be. He's going to be top 10 in scoring, it looks like. So
you got to find a hole for him at this point right now. You got to find a hole for him.
Yeah. Matheson just under 25 minutes a game, leading the team, right?
Yeah.
Cappy and Arbor are the low guys on the totem pole. I mean, you know, a rookie center, I guess you have to expect that they're going to shelter him a bit at the start of his career, but he's certainly been solid. How many rookie centers, Liam, are regular penalty killers coming into the NHL? It's not very common, is it?
No, it's very difficult to do. Hard enough to play in the league in a regular capacity, let alone take on a PK, especially ones like Montreal that finished 9th last year under the strength of Dvorak and Armia were so solid there. And they could throw up a number of others and fed off each other so well. I like what Josh Anderson has done the last couple of years on the PK, but Kapanen's come in and has looked really good. And I just thought they fronted the play better last night. They didn't get running around like I've seen a few times. I know they got scored on late, so that's kind of moot. But at the same time, I'm liking what I'm seeing here as they're trying to find their way, combining the power play just all of a sudden here, right? Moving Demidov up to the first unit has gotten hot and they're scoring, so they've come up quite a bit. You know the old story, right? You take the power play and the PK, you add it together. If you're over 100, you're going in the right track. And they were hovering around 100, and now they're over. And that's a good sign for both. But you're right on the PK with Kapanen as a rookie coming in. The guy's been impressive. There's no doubt about it. And I think the strength of what's gone on down the center there, and I'll allude to Doc a little bit on that as well, but certainly up front, with Nick taking the lion's share, 20 plus men, and everything he's doing is it sets the table for those other lines, and you just know you're going to get a push from Suzuki, so you've got some momentum, then you structure it on that back end. Their breakouts have been so much better, and you're gaining the zone either controlled or with shoot-ins that they're able to retrieve or battle for. And the stat I think I saw yesterday, Grant, Montreal's at or near the top in puck battles down low. I know they stat everything now. It's something I never even would have thought of even 10 years ago, let alone back in the day growing up. How's those puck battles down low? I think Wilson has pretty good numbers, but I mean, it's just all these stats. But really across the board right now, statistically, Montreal isn't lagging behind really in anything. So, but the PK has come up almost coincidentally with the power play, and as it's gotten a little better here with Demidov going up front, and you see Kapanen's usage on the PK and how it's effective. It just seems to transition nicely. So I like what I'm seeing. I'm ready for these next 10 games, 9 now, to see where that's. I think Jacques Martin, who coached both Ottawa and Montreal, he broke the season into 5-game increments. He wanted people a lot more like, hey, listen, we lost these. We got a loss and a tie in these first 2. So you got 3 games to get this 5-game set. And he had guys' minds working that way. Let's get these, not even thinking about a big game down the road in 2 weeks or something. So it was, every coach does something different. But I remember Jacques Martin saying that was one of the things that the way he liked to break up a season. Pretty successful coach without a Stanley Cup on the resume as a head coach. He has one as an assistant, but yeah, it's exciting times, my friend. Exciting times.
Yeah. Well, Liam, glad to have you back home. We'll get you on. You're going to be on. There was a couple of week hiatus because you were off on a Newfoundland and Saskatchewan. You're all over the place, and
yeah.
Glad to have you back. I hope you can get, you're working on a couple of legends there for interviews, and hopefully you can nail them this week, and we'll see them online a little later in the week. And we'll see you probably in a day or two. I'm sure we'll get you back on in one form or another. So really appreciate you coming out. I know you got you got to get rolling there, and all the best with your kitty cat there, and we'll bid you farewell for now.
Okay, my friend. Thanks very much, Grant. It's been a ton of fun. We'll talk to you very soon.
Thanks, Liam. Liam Maguire, folks. He's one of a kind. You know, somebody mentioned here, Grant, no sleep. Liam, who is it said here? Habs 24, Grant, the man that never sleeps. Well, Liam is the man that really never sleeps. He's a machine. Thank you for everybody. I think lots of people weren't up at 8 o'clock because all of a sudden they're coming out of the woodwork here. Drum dudes on board. Good morning, all. Hey, drum dude. Thank you. I've already been grocery shopping. Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that. You've been up and at her then. Robbie McLeod. Doc is looking good. Hope he stays healthy. Yes. Listen, I'm going to have to shut her down in a couple minutes here because I've got another interview in a half hour. We're going to tape it with Simon the Snake Boisvert. So I'm going to release that one probably 5-6 o'clock tonight, and I hope you can watch it because that's going to be a dandy. I'm going to be talking with Simo, and we're going to have a dandy chat, I'm sure, about some Habs players, some Habs prospects, and draft prospects. He saw Keaton Verhoff on the weekend, and he'll have a lot to say about him. He saw him live. So looking forward to that. So I got to wrap it up here at the top of the hour. Bill, give Doc until Christmas at least. He's bone on bone and has to be icing that knee down. He still needs some leeway and understanding. Absolutely. And we're giving him that. If you were tuned in, we were singing his praises. Actually, he's been pretty solid, and yeah, we have to do that. Good call on Bergevin. Thank you, Rick. Oh yeah, I've said it many times. He's him and Timmins. You know, they both Bergevin identified. You know, after their little run, of course, when you're at the top of the standings, you aren't necessarily accumulating draft picks. And I thought it was they really weren't a team that they almost went to the cup final, but I didn't think that they were. I think there was some good fortune there and good goaltending. Yeah, they might have made the final that year. I don't think they'd have won, but that wasn't really a cup contending team. I didn't think they overachieved, and because of that, there wasn't a lot of young talent coming up. And Bergevin, but he couldn't. You know, he had to. He couldn't be trading away players to get assets at the time because they were contending, right? So they're at the top of the standings, even if they were doing it with smoke and mirrors. And they had one good playoff run there. So, but, you know, that one playoff when they were, they were near the top of the standings, and then he added, you know, Martinson and King and all that. It was disappointing that year. I think Hughes is in a better situation. To Bergevin's credit, he didn't trade away all his draft picks because they probably didn't have the team to win anyway that year. And kudos to him for being safe, comfortable enough in his job at the time, not to think, well, we got to win or I'm going to lose my job. And he didn't sell the farm. He did start to rebuild. You know, Trevor, when given the assets, was good at getting. You know, no scout is great when you only have one pick in the top 90. But if you've got 4 or 5, then you know the math just tells you that you're going to hit on a couple of at least. And Bergevin finally figured that out later in his managerial career with Montreal, started to add assets and draft assets, and now we see we're bearing the fruit of it with there's some really good talent that Bergevin and Timmins drafted that are helping the Canadiens win, like Caufield, like Struble, not like Goulet at the moment, but the Kapanen, you can go on and on. Bronco Booger can't allow too many weak sauce power play opportunities against the Sens. The slashing calls were horrible. How long will the rest keep dumping these weak calls on the Habs? Well, hopefully it ends Saturday night. Mark, Carrier was amazing last night. Yeah, we gave him some kudos at the start of the show there. Absolutely, he was a rock. Maybe the most underrated player on the definitely on the team, but maybe in the league. He's right up there. One of the most underrated defensemen. Joe, thanks for coming on there, buddy. I wish I could have got to all your comments, but Liam had a lot to say as usual, and it was great that he joined us, and some absolutely on point, great points by Liam throughout the show as usual. If you're coming in late, watch the replay of this. I'll be posting it on YouTube. Mark, I told you okay, yeah, a Totoso. Nobody likes a Totoso, Mark. Yeah, the man that never sleeps. All right, guys. Listen, I have to prep for my interview with Simon Boisvert at 9:30. Like I say, we gotta get that one in the bank, and I'll put it up around 5 or 6. I'm gonna be promoting it all day. Looking forward to that. Gotta roll. Thank you everybody for coming out, and we'll hopefully see you 5, 6 o'clock. It won't be a live show, but hopefully you can tune into my interview with Simon that's going to be released probably either at 5 or 6. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and go Habs go.